Okay. Thank you, Kristen. Good evening and welcome, council, staff, and residents to the regular council meeting for Tuesday, December the 16th, 2025, and we are being streamed live. I will call the meeting to order with the land acknowledgement at 6:31. We are meeting today on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Huron-Wendat, Anishinaabe, and the Haudenosaunee peoples. We acknowledge our shared obligation to respect, honor, and sustain these lands and the natural resources contained within. We honor their cultures and celebrate their commitment to this land. We would also like to acknowledge the Mohawk and Algonquin nations whose traditional and unceded territory we are gathered upon today. Hastings County is situated on treaty land that is steeped in rich Indigenous history and home to many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people. Next is I need a motion that the agenda for the regular meeting of the Council of the Municipality of Marmorn Lake for Tuesday, December 16th, 2025 be approved as presented. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Ron? Second? Mike? All in favor? That's carried. Is there any declaration of pecuniary interest? Being none. The mayor's report for today, December 2nd, I presided over the regular meeting of Marmorn Lake Council. December 3rd, I participated in an interview with the Southeast Health Unit Align group. December 4th, I chaired a special closed meeting of council. December 9th, I attended the Southeast Health Unit Governance Committee meeting in Kingston. December the 10th, I participated in Community Best Practices, which is a meeting of the 4 merged boards of health to discuss successes, challenges, and best practices going forward. December the 12th, I had telephone meetings with the medical officer of health in preparation for the meeting tomorrow and the CAO regarding tonight's agenda. December the 14th, I attended the Christmas event sponsored by Rick Brissy and Sterling. And December the 16th, today, I attended a luncheon with Hastings County Council and staff at the Firehouse Restaurant in Madoc. And tonight is the regular meeting of Marmorn and Lake Council. There's no one for public input or delegations. Next, I need a motion that the foregoing minutes of the regular meeting of the Council of the Municipality of Marmorn Lake held Tuesday, December 2nd, 2025 be approved as presented. I have a mover and a seconder for that. Jane, second. Eric, any comments or questions? Go ahead, Eric, and then Jane.
Yeah, just a quick comment, just to note the delegation presentation from Hempson. It's complete in the minutes and it was in the agenda, but we didn't get to 2 slides, being the last 2 approaches to close the gap and next steps. So just that be noted.
You've got that, Kristen. Jane, you had comments?
Yes, this is just in regards to my notices of motion, and as they recorded in the minutes by our clerk. Very good job. I had ratepayers reach out to me before and after the meeting. So to the ratepayers, I would like to offer an apology to my fellow ratepayers in that I was unable to bring any sort of public accounting and transparency to the Lions Agreement to you. None of my fellow councillors saw the importance of this transparency to you, the ratepayers. Similarly with the library, less than the majority of councillors saw the importance of bringing to the ratepayers the total cost of the library in one report to the ratepayers. Again, I'm sorry I was not able to bring you the answers you wanted.
Kristen, do you need some specific change? No? Okay. Anything further? So I think we have to say be approved as amended. No? Even with Eric's comments? No? Okay. Oh, okay. Thanks. Okay, so all in favor? That's carried. Next, minutes of the special regular meetings of the Council of the Municipality of Marmorn Lake for November the 28th, and December the 4th. And the recommendation is that the foregoing minutes of the special regular meetings of the council of the municipality of Marmor Lake held November 28th and December 4th, 2025 be approved as presented. And I have a mover and a seconder for those minutes. Eric and Jane, any comments on those minutes? Being none, all in favor? That's carried. Staff reports. Procedural bylaw update, and the recommendation is that council accept the procedural bylaw update report dated December 16th, 2025, and further that procedural bylaw 2025-68 be recommended for council approval. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Mike, in the second, please. Ron, any discussion on that procedural bylaw? Eric?
Just a question through the chair. I know the report references communication plan. When this initial idea of consolidating the meetings and meeting times, moving up to part 30, I personally wasn't in support of that. But seeing that this is moving forward, I just want to ensure that the public is fully informed of what this process will look like, and how are we going to ensure that the public is aware of that time change when we do and don't have planning. So through the chair, maybe if staff could speak to that.
Go ahead, Kristen.
And through the chair to Councillor Dow. So the intention is to provide a series of informative announcements through the municipal website. Those have been prepped already to start this week. Once the bylaw has been passed, the 2026 council meeting schedule will be uploaded to the portal on the website. And so announcements will be coming regularly between that time, hopefully tomorrow or Thursday. That'll be up to date. To start to explain what that's kind of going to look like, not too different from the report and the agenda, but so that it's out on, social media, on the website, so that people have an opportunity to think about what that means, and then also to ask any question. I'm available, and that's in those posts, my contact information, if there's any confusion about what that's going to look like. We also always put a post about the next meeting time and date on the digital board down in the park. So a slide has been prepared for that too before the January slide. Sort of take notice of the fact that we have a time change and what that time change is. And I do think, moving forward, if you have ratepayers, reaching out about what does this mean? There's a planning agenda. When do I come? I'd be happy to talk to them directly. At this stage, generally speaking, our planning meetings are quite brief. And so I would be encouraging people to come for a meeting that starts at 5:30. They may end up here for 7 minutes of planning, but then we'd be going right into regular session. Anyway, and if that sort of changes throughout the month, then that's something we can address as we go.
Thanks, Kristen. And you did note all of that, the communication process in your report. I noted. Yeah. Thank you. Anything further on that? Okay, all in favor? That's carried. Next is a report regarding the 2025 traffic sign inspection report. And the recommendation is that council receive the 2025 traffic sign retro reflectivity inspections and inventory report dated December the 16th, 2025. And further, that council receive the 2025 traffic sign retro reflectivity inspection and inventory report for information. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Ron, second Jane. Any discussion on that report? Jane?
I was reading through the report, and there's a lot of information in the report. And I'm sure our ratepayers may have been wondering about the report and what's the purpose of the report. I would like to share an experience that my children had because of a sign that was not properly inspected. They lost a very good friend in a car accident. as a result of a sign that had not been inspected properly. So as you're reading this report, please know that it is done with the safety of everybody in mind.
Thanks, Jane. Eric?
Yeah, just a couple points. In comparing this to the 2024 results, we scored a little bit less than we did in 2024. So that kind of says there's a need for increased maintenance in replacement of those signs with scores going down. I'd also like to remind the public that this doesn't include all signs in the municipality. This reflectivity testing is only done as part of the minimum maintenance standards and provincial requirements. So not all signs are captured in this analysis. We use the mesh software, and these signs are all in the mesh software with the results, and you'll notice a lot of the signs now have barcodes on the back of them. I think there's a real opportunity to use mesh going forward to properly document and asset manage the other signs that aren't included in these testing. Excuse me, we have lots of other signs that do have issues. And there's an opportunity to combine patrol plus documentation and mesh plus proper budgeting to deal with some of those other signs. And this is something I also speak to this point on behalf of the Economic Development Advisory Committee, which have looked at signs throughout the municipality in detail. And that was one of the discussions that we kind of have had many times. What about all these signs? And mesh gives us the opportunity to address some of those going forward, I think.
Thanks, Eric. And I just wanted to say that I think it was at the last Roma conference that I went to. I attended one of the sessions about signs. And when a municipality receives that we're going to be sued for some accident or something, signs are a very important factor in determining liability. And so I think it's very important that it might seem minor to some people, but to Jane's point, some serious things have happened in the past. And one of the protections that the municipality has is to make sure that our signs are in good shape and up to date. So, Eric?
Yeah, it's just all the more reason to be looking at all signs. These are a very specific list of signs related to warnings. But we have other signs like children at play, like crosswalk signs, other signs that are not included, speed limit signs. Those aren't part of this score.
Okay, I think the word, the retro reflectivity, I think, is sort of the key component of this report. But adding that is a good point. So anything further? All in favor? That's carried. Next, Asset Management Plan 2025. And the recommendation is that council receive this Asset Management Plan 2025 report dated December 16th, 2025. The council approved the municipality of Marmora Lakes levels of service asset management plan prepared in accordance with Ontario Regulation 588/17. That council received the tax supported and rate supported financial information of the plan that identifies a funding gap over the next 10 years to meet the proposed service levels. That council directs staff to make the plan publicly available on the municipality's website. That council directs staff to submit the plan to the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing. And further, that council directs staff to incorporate recommendations of the asset management plan for both tax supported and rate supported capital levels of service, utilization of risk-based prioritization, an increase of asset condition knowledge into the future capital budget processes, including a minimum commitment to financing strategy option 2, with room for additional increases to capital expenditures through the budget process as needed and recommended by staff. Can I have a mover and the seconder, please, to put that on the table? Jane, and second, Eric, any discussion? Any questions? Nancy is here to answer any questions if anybody has any. Go ahead, Eric.
I just think this is a really important document, not just for this council, but this will affect councils going forward as well with this commitment to this strategy. I think it's important that we stay committed to this and remind residents that this is a report not necessarily put together by staff or council, that this is a third party that have looked at this and identified for us the real gap that exists here. So it's not something any of us are proud of, and we all recognize that it's a problem, but we have to look at strategies to deal with to close that gap because these problems aren't going away. So that's it.
Thanks, Eric. Anything further on that report? Mike?
Yeah, I agree with Eric. This is a very important report, especially going forward. We've been too lax in the past, too afraid to raise taxes to cover what's going to be needed in the future. And so we're getting behind. I do believe, that we need to have this money available to us. Lots of grants in that require a portion from the municipality to qualify for them. And if we don't have those funds available, we will not be able to get those grants to do roads and bridges. We need the money going forward. And I do believe it's mandated that we do this by the province, that we have to have this money set aside or a plan to set aside this money. So, not only should it is a good accounting, I guess you would call it, going forward, but the province is looking for us all to do this to cover our needs going forward. They don't want to have emergencies where we have to shut down bridges and things like that because they're unsafe. And we as members of the municipality don't want that to happen either, and need to be able to keep up the maintenance of what we do have, plus fix new things that are coming along. Because what we fix this year, in 10 years is going to need to have maintenance done on it by then too, as well as new roads being fixed, new buildings being fixed, and the whole thing. It's just a vicious cycle. So, we haven't, to be honestly, we haven't raised taxes high enough in the past to be able to do this. And now we're going to have to bite the bullet and do it now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Anything further? John?
So through you, Chair to Council, one, I wanted to underscore exactly that it is a blueprint for investment in terms of our infrastructure and the conditions that are there. I want to, in particular, point out the work that Nancy, as the treasurer, has done with respect to carrying this project forward. It was something that was started with the previous manager of environmental services. Did not meet the timeline, but Nancy has picked it up, worked with the department heads, working with the level of service, and especially with Andrew and his team at HIMSS. And it's a difficult thing to get your head around in terms of the level of detail, the amount of data and information that has to go into it. But again, I just want to applaud the work that Nancy and working with Andrew and his team at HIMSS has done to get to this point. It's something that, again, a lot of municipalities are struggling with. We're more or less in the same boat as we were, but at the same time, we've got it done. And if council approves it, then from my standpoint, it is exactly as the deputy mayor and Councillor Dow had said. It's really good. But again, just applauding the work that Nancy did with HIMSS and the team. I really appreciate that.
Thanks, John. And thanks, Nancy and Andrew. Thank you. Good job. Anything further? All in favor? That's carried. Next, Environmental Registry Ontario comments regarding the proposed boundaries for the new conservation authorities. And the recommendation is the council received this Environmental Registry Ontario proposed boundaries for the regional consolidation of Ontario's conservation authorities report dated December 16th, 2025. And further, that council directs staff to submit comments through the ERO on this matter. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Eric and Jane. Comments, please. Jane?
I just have a question because I'm not quite sure, I understand this process, and maybe if I don't, others don't. So currently, we have a counselor who sits on the Crow Lake Conservation Authority. But this report, John, is it part of our relationship with our Crow Valley Association?
So through your chair to Councillor Lakatos. So the comments in generally, so if you will recall, the province is doing a number of different things through legislation and also with the conservation authorities. Conservation Ontario, which is the umbrella group for the 36 conservation authorities, is providing information to the CAs. Some of that is being tailored, and then there are individual comments coming from local CAs. With Crow Valley and Quinte, we have councillor representation on both. These comments, although rely heavily on comments provided by Quinte Conservation, some of those comments are generic across CAs, but specific to both Crow and Quinte. I know there's a lot of data specific to that, and that's a bit of a function of the time in which I had to prepare the comments, and also from the relationship that Brad McNevin from Quinte Conservation had provided to the deputy and also to others with respect to background information. The comments themselves are common that we could apply to both CAs, but also by extension, other CAs that find themselves in the same situation. I hope that provides clarity.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Eric, did I see your hand up?
Yeah, I just want to remind that this comment period is open till the 22nd, not just for us as a municipality, but for any members of the public that wanted to provide comment as well.
Thank you. Anything further? I'll go ahead, Mike.
I just want to thank John for putting it together at short notice. The province gave everybody really short notice. We're supposed to have up until the 22nd to make comments before this legislation is passed. They already passed it 2 weeks ago, so it shows you exactly where they're going. They don't care what we think. They never consulted any conservation authority in Ontario what they thought of this. They never got information from conservation authorities as to how this should be put together. They just went ahead and did it up in Toronto somewhere. I have no idea where, and stuck it all together. The only thing I can see from this and reading what's going to happen, this is going to cost us a lot more money in the future because they're putting together a main board that's made up of provincial people who will be getting big salaries, way more than we get, which is absolutely zero for going to meetings and doing the work. So, and they're going to be overhead of all these conservation authorities and making decisions, and a lot of them irrevocable decisions in our areas where they have no idea what's going on. They're going to have to rely on the local conservation authorities anyways to do this work. And the problem is we have no idea how the staff transition is going to be, how it's going to look like, how they're going to report. We have nothing. We don't know much at all other than they're jamming us all together. And then they think they're going to make it bigger and better. I've heard bigger and better before, and it's usually not bigger and better. It's usually bigger, worse, and more expensive. And that's where I think it's going. It's not the way you should do things in a democracy, that's for sure. Anyways, things are going ahead. We have to do what we can do. And exactly as Eric pointed out, please, if you've had any dealings with the conservation authorities and you are happy with the way they are, let the province know. As far as I know from all the comments and all the studies we've done with Quinte and Crow, everybody's meeting all the mandates that they gave us there 2 years ago. So I don't know where they're coming up with that things are not going well, because we're doing the things within the timelines exactly as they said. And most of them are being done ahead of the timelines. So we're doing a good job. So I don't know what the outcome of all this is, other than it's like the building inspections and that, where they can override anybody. It just seems like we're consolidating all the power in Toronto and the rest of us out here in the boonies, because what the conservation is for Toronto or Whitby or Peterborough even is not the same as what's going out here in Madoc, Marmora, Kingston, all the areas in Eastern Ontario. So to lump them all together and say we're gonna have one thing that goes from, I think it goes from about Whitby all the way down to Ottawa is just crazy. Anyways, just exactly like Eric said, everybody who's done anything or got anything, please write into the province and let Rick Brzee know that we are, you can tell him I'm not happy.
Thanks, Mike. Anything further on that report? Again, good, go ahead, John.
Sorry to interrupt you, through chair to council. So just so that people are aware, so council is aware and also the public is aware, if council supports this, what I will do is submit comments to the environmental registry through an account I have, and that will be a copy of the report and the comments attached to that. Again, the legislation was passed in 21 days, first, second, third reading, not even being referred to committee. So again, we'll make those comments before the deadline of the 22nd, and for others to do the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further? All in favor? That's carried. Thanks, John, for that report. Mike's right. You gave us a good analysis of what's happening. Thank you. Next, report by the CAO, status update for December 2025. And the recommendation is that council receive the CAO status update December 2025 report dated December 16th, 2025 for information. And I have a mover and a seconder to put that on the table for discussion. Jane and Ron, any discussion on John's report? Eric?
Through the chair to John, I see some groundwork happening over at the EV charger location. Can you provide any further update on ETA for completion or what the next steps are going to be there?
Sure. Thank you. Through your chair to Councillor Dow. Yes, it's been a long time. This is something that should have happened in the spring through a series of sort of conversations with Jewel, who is the company that's installing the EV chargers. There seemed to be a long queue with Hydro One in terms of installation. Through some inquiries and making phone calls, that's now going forward. My understanding is that the work right now, they've already done some groundwork, as you've indicated. They're waiting for Hydro One to come out and approve the work's done to date, and they'll finish that. I suspect probably it'll creep into January, but my hope is it'll be done fairly soon.
Thanks, John.
Done and then up and running in Q1. Wow, great.
Anything further? All in favor? That's carried. Committee and board reports, the Marmor Lake Public Library Board, minutes of October the 16th, 2025, and the Economic Development Advisory Committee minutes of October 29th, 2025. The recommendation is that the foregoing minutes and reports of the committees and boards listed are hereby received for information. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Jane, second, Eric. Any discussion on those minutes, Jane?
Through the chair, I have a question for Councillor Derry about the library board. How do ratepayers get a copy of the treasurer's report if it's not in the minutes provided to council?
I'm not sure, but I'll look into that for you. I wasn't at the last meeting, as you can see, but I will get an answer for you.
Yeah, I've noticed on other reports as well that or other minutes as well that it was treasurer's reports, but they're never provided to the to council for the ratepayers to view. So yeah, perhaps you can get back to us. Thank you.
I will. I'll look into that.
Thanks.
Thank you. Anything further, Eric?
Just in relation to the Economic Development Advisory Committee minutes, just to highlight that the group has been doing continued work on the Community Ambassador Program, working on signage and promotion strategies for that Community Ambassador Program. If anyone is interested in more information on that, you can certainly reach out to me. There's also details on the municipal website.
Thank you, Eric. Oh, okay. Go ahead, Jane.
Just a question, clarification for the clerk. I'm not sure. My question to Councillor Derry, is that recorded in the minutes or is that just a comment that just goes on video?
Through the chair to Councillor Lakatos, it's just a comment.
Perfect. Thank you.
And I do know that those reports are included in the agenda package. And I believe you have to reach out to the library directly to get a copy of the agenda.
Anything further on the minutes of those reports? All in favor? That's carried. Correspondence for direction, Crow Valley Conservation Authority, November municipal brief, and the recommendation is that council receive the brief for information. I have a mover and a seconder, please. Ron and Jane, any questions on that brief? Go ahead, Eric.
Just a question through the chair. I'm not sure whoever wants to answer this since Nancy's here. There's a note in here. A motion was passed to circulate the draft 2026 budget to member municipalities for the 30-day review period and discuss any comments at the January 15th, 2026 meeting. Has that been provided to the municipality? Yeah, isn't that usually included in a, we get that as part of the agenda at some point, so.
Sorry, through the chair to Councillor Dow. Normally I would receive that and include it in a council agenda package, and I haven't seen it so far.
Okay, maybe,
We don't have another meeting before their
Well,
meeting on the 15th.
yeah, and that's why I was asking, because I know in past years, we've always seen that to get a kind of, I know it states in here what the levy increase they're talking about, but so we can see some background and provide comments, so maybe if these timelines have changed, or if you could reach out to them for that information, that would be appreciated. And then circulate it if they can provide it.
Anything further? All in favor? That's carried. Ministry of the Environment, Conservation and Parks regarding the Deloro site cleanup project. Public Liaison Committee meeting number 56 and the minutes of November 27th, 2025. And the recommendation is that council receive the minutes for information. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Jane, and second, Mike. Any discussion on that cleanup project? I did attend that meeting and it was very informative. But most of the information that was relayed in that meeting is in this report. So, and I have asked, there was one particular application and I can't remember to what ministry it was, and they suggested that it be circulated to the municipality, and I asked for that to happen. So anyway, it'll be on an agenda when we get it. So, anything on that? Anything further? All in favor? Thank you. That's carried. Hastings County Council report of November 27th, 2025, and the recommendation is that council receive the report for information. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Ron, and second, Jane. Any questions on that report? All in favor? That's carried. I must say that we didn't used to get these reports, and I think there's lots of good information in them because we do contribute pretty heavily to Hastings County. And I think that it's nice to receive the information and know what they're doing there. So next is the Building Inspection Services Board report for November 2025. Recommendation is that council receive the report for information. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Ron, and second, Jane. Any questions on that report? All in favor? That's carried. Village Transit Service announcement, and the recommendation is that council accept the announcement for information. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Eric and Mike, any comments or questions on that report? Go ahead, Eric.
I know the email here asks for this to be posted. Can we put this out as an announcement through municipal channels? Is that something that's possible to help get the word out to residents?
Yeah, I'm sure. And I do know that they have their own website too that they're working through, and it's well advertised, but can we put it on our website, Kristen? Anything further? All in favor? That's carried. Bylaw number 2025-68, the procedural bylaw. The recommendation is the bylaw 2025-68 being a bylaw to establish the Corporation of the Municipality of Marmor Lakes rules for procedure for meetings of council and applicable committees be read and passed the 16th day of December 2025. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Eric, and second Mike. Any further discussion on the bylaw? All in favor? That's carried. Nor there are no notice of motions, announcements. Does anyone have any announcements? Jane?
This has to do with council and our activities. I just wish to publicly thank Anne McNeil for mentioning me 2 or 3 times in her news reports. It's unfortunate that she doesn't also mention the other councilors as they don't receive the same attention to ratepayers issues as I have been. So thanks very much, Anne, for keeping me alive with the ratepayers.
Anything further? Go ahead, Eric.
Just a couple of quick announcements. I'd like to thank everyone who made the Lions Club Santa Claus Parade so special this year. It was amazing to see the downtown packed and so full as all the floats rounded the corner from Madoc Street. It truly was a heartwarming, positive, and community building event. Reminder to the public about public skating. We're very fortunate this year. The Marmar Crow Valley Lions, along with Annabella Stoic and Joyce Ianu, eXp Realty and Centrum Financial Services, have sponsored 2 free public skating days for the holidays. So if you have kids home or family over and you want to go enjoy free skating at the arena, Sunday, December 28th from 2 till 3, and Wednesday, December 31st from 3 to 4. The Marmar Public Library is looking for support in providing feedback on Bill C-15, which is the Canada Post Corporations Act. This bill puts at risk the library book rate, which is a special rate that libraries receive to send books that they share to each other. Well, we're a small library and we're not a lender in the system. We use the system to receive books. If the rate is lost, the program will likely cease, and our library here will lose the ability to offer interlibrary loans to residents. In small rural communities like Marmor Lake, the sharing of resources is extremely important. We bring in about roughly 50 items a month from libraries all across Ontario for local residents. And these are all resources that we get in that we don't have to purchase because we can borrow them from other libraries. So you can check out the Marmar Public Library website or their Facebook for more information in submitting feedback on that. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. Anyone else have any announcements? Go ahead, Mike.
It's not an announcement, it's just a comment. I was unable to attend the Santa Claus Parade. I was at a family gathering that day, but I did see an excellent review of it on Facebook. There was some lady, I can't remember the lady's name. She was right as all the floats came out of the fairgrounds. She captured everything. It looked like it was fantastic. I just want to thank the Lions Club and everybody who participated. The floats were excellent. So thanks Lions Club for organizing it all, and thanks everybody who participated. You did a wonderful job.
Thanks, Mike. There were over 30 floats in the parade, and it was spectacular. And I think the night parades are just so cool, and the weather just cooperated perfectly. And anyway, it was a very, very well done parade. I just have an announcement. I was asked by the Marmor Library CEO just to thank to the lunch bowl program at the library. Today they hosted a hot turkey dinner with all the trimmings to 55 community residents. This was made possible through the very generous support of Sharp Supermarket in Campbellford and donations from our own community. We express thanks to a fabulous team of volunteers. So I'd like to reiterate that this was a fantastic community event. It wasn't advertised. It was by word of mouth, and they ended up with 55 residents. And I just popped in for a minute to pick this up as they asked me to. And they were just doing up dishes, and they were so proud of the response that they had to this. And they said how the community, a couple of them were just almost in tears and thanks for this community event. So I just want to say thank you to that group of volunteers and the library staff. So anything further in announcements? Being none, we need a motion to convene into closed session. And the recommendation is that council will proceed into a closed meeting session at 7:12 PM under the Municipal Act 2001, Section 239 2B, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. Labor relations or employee negotiations regarding policy enforcement. B, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees regarding department head update. And labor relations or labor relations or employee negotiations regarding a union update. And B, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. A, a position plan, procedure, criteria, or instruction to be applied to any negotiations carried on or to be carried on by on behalf of the municipality or local board regarding the fire department succession plan. And I have a mover and a seconder. Eric, and second. Jane, any discussion? Okay, we'll formally go into closed